Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 87 of the Lorethrough. I do apologize for last episode. Unscripted rant and all. Some of you will enjoy it. Some of you will be horribly bored by it. But that's life. We find ourselves here at the Seathwater River, and we are going to start Mount Gelmir proper. We've done a little bit of the edge of it. We did a little bit of the middle for that tasty map, and to test out some crimson or different crystal tiers. Here we find all sorts of volcanic stone. We don't have a recipe for it just yet, but it's everywhere. And it's a relatively easy resource to farm. It comes back every time you rest at a site of grace, and Seathwater is full of it. So it's kind of funny how just a little bit into the area we find a golden seed. And I think do I hear another beetle? No, we already handled one last time we were here on the very edge. Yep. So lots of gouts of fire. Oh, there is a beetle. It's over there. He's bothering nobody, though. He can stay. And so we have all these shambling corpses moving around. I think if we come over this way, we'll see a couple fall from above. Possibly. There they are. Just kind of spawn in. They don't expect you to be looking up at a 45-degree angle, I suppose. Right? They do live through the the fall, though. Find a nobleman desperately clutching some herba, dead in the middle of this chasm. But if we come up here, we see a bunch of basilisks arrive. Horrible little creatures. Don't like them. Don't like the basilisks. No reason to like them. They've been in many Souls games, and they're always a bit of a pain. Let's get out of that gunk. And now that they're out of the way, we can take a look at these bodies. So it looks like the bodies of commoners. Rejuvenating boluses, heavy beast bones, glass shards. Not a whole lot. Kind of lackluster. And more of these guys show up if you beeline it for the item. Always ready to trap you. We find a nascent butterfly. Have we taken a look at the 3 butterflies yet? Side by side? Because there's 3 butterflies in the game. There's Smoldering, Aeonian, and Nascent, right? Smoldering butterfly, an eternally burning butterfly found near wildfires and elsewhere, serves as the kindling for a number of items. Aeonian butterfly, according to myth, these butterflies were once the wings of the goddess of Rot herself. And nascent butterfly, this butterfly appears as if it's just emerged from its cocoon for its entire life. Sure enough. Out here we have a fellow chillin', a sentry. He's watching out. What is he watching out for? I don't know, but he's not doing it very well. But it's a Lanedale soldier, and he's a little ways away. He's in the almost the center of Mount Gelmir. So let's see what's inside. What would he be guarding? What would he be trying to protect? It doesn't take us long, but if we go into Seathwater Cave, we find the Grace. Very nice to have a checkpoint. Might as well get my mana back. You never know what you could use that mana for. I can use my staff for a little bit of light. Take a look. And we see a light source up ahead as I completely flub my attack. And here's this guy. He's got a fire. A horrible idea. Mostly because there's nowhere for the smoke to vent, and the exit to this little alcove is lower than the ceiling, so the smoke would just pool and kind of choke you out. Not very good ventilation, methinks. Continue, we find some crystal cave moss. And we have some places to go down. Ooh. Yucky. I'm actually curious to know. So, let's see. Our immunity is 267 and 81. Those are the numbers. What those mean exactly, I couldn't tell you. If we equip that, 327, also 81. Okay, so 81 must be our base or something. 327. Oh, we don't have the other charm on us, so we'll just wield that. And then we will eat this bad boy. And now we have a really long meter for dealing with poison. Not that we couldn't just chug boluses, but gotta use those consumables at some point, right? Have these horrible monsters. The elemental damage is okay against them. Do I think it's like pure elemental? No, not particular. Not particularly. That's okay. We have these mushroom men that we could put down. Yep, we have a slew of rats. How are you not dead? You're so close. One of those moments where had you put another point into a damage stat, it would have finished him off. At least it seemed that close to me. Alright, so we have this underground set of caves, and they're full of poison for some reason. Why are they filled with poison? Don't know. But they're intent on poisoning me. Which they may try. Well, drat. There we go. Poison blooms, mushroom crowns. People who are so inundated with the poison that they just don't mind it anymore. That's probably where we continue. Oh no, our light source. I forget, since I don't have a huge amount of int to make pew-pewing very viable. At least at this late stage. I should probably be using Night Maiden's Mist for the damage. I don't need frame rate. Why would I need frame rate? I don't even need my frame rate to kill you. Is there lore in these caves? None that I can read. Not yet, anyways. Find a huge golden rune. Okay. Oh, there's an item over here we missed. Well, not for long. Preserving boluses, which is funny. It's an anti-rot item here in the middle of a poison cave. It's the wrong item. Close, but not close enough. We come over here, find a massive pit in the ground. Is there anything else to explore? Just some plants, not a whole lot. There is the Stake America, it looks like. One arm. She's got the braid. Sorry about bumping the mic. I feel like I just did, so might need to tinker with that in the settings after the fact, or cut accordingly. Ooh, almost fell too far. There we go. We get some poison bone darts. I think we can fall the rest of the way. There we are. Not a whole lot of lore in the dungeon thus far, unfortunately. But it seems interesting that those Lanedale soldiers, I don't think they'd be guarding the poison pit. I think they were just using the very start of the cave to stay safe. Meaning, I think there's going to be something really spooky later on. Okay. I used these boys last time. I never upgraded those. Right, the Soul Jars of Fortune. We'll see how good these boys are. I don't remember what's in this place, but we'll see. We'll find out. Kindred of Rot. So, these were regular enemies. Ooh. These were regular enemies in Caelid. Nothing too special about them. Dang. Oh, well, almost took care of him already. Alright, let's see what the Soul Jars do. Yeah, they'll smack him. They don't do a whole lot. Let's get Starlight out again so we can see. I don't remember if there was too many of these boys. Yeah, punch him. Get him. Oh, he got him with the uppercut. The Shoryuken. Oh, no. I'm trying to see if I can spell parry those threads. That's what I want to know, if these guys don't take care of him. Because they might. Maybe I can grab his attention. Nope. Oh, you can. Okay. But the timing's dumb. I almost killed him. Not a very good boss, in my opinion. Might just kill him. I did too much damage. Oh, there it is. Yeah, they explode when they die. And that's probably where the bulk of their damage will come from. I'll probably have to use them again. Oh well. That was a neat little exercise. Alright, well, let's head to the front of the dungeon and continue on our merry way. We took far too long on that. But hey, it was for science, right? And by science, I mean experimentation just for the heck of it. I'm not writing this down. I guess you could argue that this is technically... I flipped that backstab so bad. Okay. We will get to it. Down the ways. A little deer here. Somehow I reached him from horseback with my little knife. There's many of these little flame gouts, which makes this a rather fun area to PvP in, even though it's kind of scant for enemies. Take that as you will. But those little flame torrents, I've seen them eat invaders pretty well. If you can get them to keep crossing it. Any sensible invader with his head on his shoulders probably won't fall for it, but... yeah, lots of this volcanic stone. So here we have a castle, actually. And a site of grace. So maybe we can finally get some lore and get some progress. This is an okay site of grace if you need volcanic stones. There's like 4 nearby spawns. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you can just sit again at the site of grace. Let's work our way up, though. So coming over here, we have the monks again. The fire monks. We have their siege engines and the like. Let's see if I can get in here. Whew. I don't know how I dodged that, but I did. That's the kind of damage I like to see. What do they drop? Fire blossoms. I don't think fire blossoms are native to any part of the world we've been to just yet. But we found a few of them. Let's see. Half-ashen and smoldering flower that blooms on the mountaintop of the giants, fertilized by the sparks from the forge at the peak where burns the flame of ruin. Flame at the peak. Forge at the peak where burns the flame of ruin. Now, we know the flame of ruin is a sign of... what's it a sign of? Let's see. Legendary incantation is one of several that draws directly from the heart of the fire giants. Arganthy, the chief guardian of flame, kept this incantation a well-kept secret until it was stolen by Adan. The fell god still lurks within the fire giants. The flame of ruin is anathema to the Erd Tree, but prophets sometimes glimpse it within the faith all the same. Sadly, when this occurs, their sole reward is banishment. The giant's flame still smolders upon the distant northern mountaintop. The fire monks are its guardians. Okay. Giant's flame is... the giant's flame is the flame of ruin, capable of burning the Erd Tree, and so, following the war against the giants, its ruinous blaze was sealed, and guardians were appointed to watch over it. So, in the last episode, I looked at the strange bowl that was at the peak. The peak of the world, as far as we could tell. We were looking at all the Divine Towers, but we could see a big old bowl from the Kaled Tower quite clearly. And I wonder if that is the forge where the ruin is. Because it kind of looks like one of those forges you might hang from a bunch of chains, and it's kind of shaped like a bowl. That's a style of forge that does exist. So possibly. So let's get into this little castle and see what's going on. If I can get over here. Shucks. Oh, wow. Those two hit stun me hard enough. Ooh, there's another monk. I was trying to find a place to parry, but it seems like it's not going to happen like that. There we go. Wrong parry tool. Oh well. Oh god. Well, time to finally use that seed we got to buff the amount we get healed by. There we are. Alright, so looking at the castle, sure enough it looks like one from the Saint and Tree Stratum. So it's very old. At least it looks like it. It kind of looks like Fort Height, honestly. And there we see a guy, a big fat man. And he has a huge red hammer. And he's very reminiscent of Smo from Dark Souls 1. From the Ornstein and Smo fight. So let's go see what he has to say for us. Sure enough, fires this big old cascading fire attack. And he's got the butt slam. He's got these huge attacks. Oh, and he's using a unique move. There we go. He's got a big old bull head, heavy iron armor, maybe steel, and we get his Prelate's Inferno Crozier, which is a mandatory drop the first time you kill him. Let's take a look. Colossal hammer with the appearance of roiling flames, weapon of the prelates who lead the fire monks. So this is one of their leaders. Its heft represents the weight of their guardianship. The hammer's head is unusually substantial, and strong attacks will fling foes into the air. It is a strength weapon. I might actually use it at a later point. But it comes natively with his Ash of War, though you can replace it. It's kind of neat. Big old hammer. It's got the heavy attack that launches people into space if you hit them. So that's also neat. Let's take a look at his armor, because you can farm it off this guy. Though there's a variant you have to farm later. Helm engraved with a sacred countenance and housing a cauldron. Attire of the fire prelates, commanders of the fire monks. It is said the cauldron perched atop its head was originally furnished with embers, and would surge into flames when the wearer's faith reached its zenith. The fire of this cauldron has since died out, however. So let's see if the other ones have a slightly different description, because that seems specific. The weighty frames of the prelates symbolize the onus of their grave vows as guardians of the flame. Etch this sight upon thine breast of my thunderous gravity. Almost seems comedic. And the other parts say much the same. They are quite heavy. Not really any symbolism. They look like the Flame Monks' gauntlets, but they're the prelate gauntlets, and the legs also kind of resemble it, but a little heavier. It's got these scales and chains and plates. Kind of interesting. But the headpiece specifically, let's put on the headpiece. Simply because if we take a good look at it up close, and I'll look it up to a wall so we can see it. It has an eyeball on the forehead. Ooh. But yeah, there's that eyeball on the forehead. Kind of reminiscent of the eyeball that you see on the chess piece for the fire monks, right? There's that chess piece, kind of this Oni face. Kind of reminiscent of those siege engines we saw outside. Two different variants of it. But yeah, it's got that one eye. And the nose. And the face. We haven't seen any Cyclops-looking monsters like that, right? The grotesque face sculpted in the chest is said to depict the corrupt ancient god of the flame. Taboos transform into lasting obsessions by virtue of the fear that they inspire. Alright, well, let's continue. So a little bit about the god of ruin and flame, a little bit. The ruinous flame. At least I think that's what it said. Yeah, the ancient god of the flame. Alright, coming up here. Eek, the wretched fools. So we got a little line of dialogue. They'll never find me. And sure enough, there's a treasure chest here looted, and a voice that seems to mock us. No voice actor. But there's dead Lanedell soldiers here, which is worth noting. Not doing so hot. If we come out here, we can jump up and we see a ghost. Eek, the wretched fools. And we can find the Fire Scorpion charm. I'll soon head back to the Volcano Manor. Heh, I'll survive, I swear, and soon I'll be back at the Volcano Manor. He did not survive, spoiler alert, but he did drop a talisman we can look at. A talisman carried by assassins who strike unseen, patterned on a scorpion freshly shed of its exoskeleton, its claws seizing a heart that burns with fire. Raises fire attack power, but lowers damage negation. I feel like it's like a 12 or 15, it might be 12, a 12% elemental bonus to damage, but then you take like 10% more damage, and it might be slightly more than that in PvP. Fat rolling because the hammer's way too big. Okay. Let's keep going. Not going the fastest, but that's okay. We have a bunch of boys out here. And there's a couple siege tanks over there. They're not guarding anything too important, really. Kind of here to get in your way. If you need a Staff of the Guilty, though, here are the boys you can slay. There's a dead Lanedell soldier, so it seems some remnants are still about and fighting. And they're casting that sorcery, the one that scales with faith and fires. Just having fun with the poison. Alright, let's pick on another one of these boys. I feel like there was another one I buffed. Okay, so it turns out Perfumer Trisha was not buffed last time. Neither was my Mimic Tier or the Winged Misbegotten. We'll try Trisha. So if we come over to the cliff over here, and there's not much behind the castle, by the way, if you were curious. Just more siege engines to fight. But there's a little summoning pool here, and the prompt to summon a friend. So we're going to need to be smart about this one. As smart as I can reasonably be, at least. I'm trying to think of what I would want to use. I think I'm going to use this, and then I'm going to try to swap to the Cold Lance. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. We'll do that. And, look, there's a magma worm. This one's not named, but he's the field boss. Ooh. Oh. The magma worm is poisoned, which is a good sign. Ooh, broke his posture. Get a tasty crit in there. Ooh, Too much end lag. We can get another crit, and thanks to Terra Magica, it'll be a tasty one. Whew. The lava's getting in the way. Oh no! Oh, it killed me too. I couldn't get up. I was mashing the roll button. So you don't want to get knocked out of the air over the lava. It'll continue to hit you. There's Stick America right there, though, so not a big problem. So that's one thing we could try. Trisha, not too helpful. Going through these runes too much in these later levels. That's okay. Let's try, instead of Trisha, let's try this silly Misbegotten. Where is he at? Oh, this is going to be a mistake, but a fun one. I think I want to start the poison again, even if I go with a different thing. Okay. I don't need the Market Shackle. What am I doing? Whoops. Oh, he just wrecks everything, doesn't he? That Misbegotten's pretty good at getting his attention, though. But I have a feeling he's not going to last. Let's do that. Hoo-hoo. Oh, rolled too soon. Oh, God. Those swings remind me of a boss I can't talk about right now. A boss that has very delayed swings. And here's the sweep. Oh, I have the wrong weapon. There we go. Not too bad. Great enemy felled. And I didn't put on the charm in time, so no bonus money for me. Oh, wow, we've almost broke 1 million. What a stupid amount of money to have. So, there's lava here. It does a little bit of damage to Torrent, not very fast. As long as you're not lingering, you'll be fine. And we hear someone just shout and groan with great exertion.
Oh, mountain of fire! Bake me in your flames!
Well, it's Alexander. We can talk to him from a good distance away, so let's say hi.
Ah, good sir. What business might you have in such a place as this? I hardly think you're here to temper yourself with flame, considering that fleshly form of yours. Your timing, though, is impeccable as ever. I've been making just the thing for you on my journey here.
And he does a tossing motion, indicating that we caught whatever he gave us.
But, it's hardly more than lukewarm here. I won't be able to temper my body such that it'll never crack again. Perhaps I'll head eastward. There's an old saying I've caught wind of. Above the lofty clouds, the icy giant's peak doth soar. Here lieth the flame of ruin, which ever burning roars.
So he's going to head for the Flame of Ruin. Convenient that we've been talking about the Flame of Ruin and its followers, or rather those tasked with keeping it safe. And this must have been a detachment that headed westward in the attempts to catch Adan, while the ones in Liurnia were way closer, and we found him in the Malefactor's Ever jail. Whether the local detachment of flame monks put him in there, or whether he just happened to be there, couldn't tell you. Let's see if Alexander has something else to say.
Perhaps I'll head eastward. There's an above the lofty...
Okay. All right. Well, there we are. So that'll be it for today's episode, episode 78. We'll continue around the circuit, and we might actually... It'll be close. We should be able to do a lot next time, though there are 2 dungeons to speak of before we get into Volcano Manor proper. It's kind of an interesting spiral and a little side area, and then up and then around, and then we'll be there. But anyway, thank you for joining me. Hopefully you'll show up next time for episode 88, where we'll get to Volcano Manor, and there will be yet more exciting lore. And we're going to have a lot more lore drops, because Elden Ring's content is like a pyramid with a wide base, and we're getting near the middle, or we're in the middle, I should say, and it's just going to narrow, and we're going to get more lore with fewer gaps in between. So thank you for joining me. Hope you have a good one, and bye-bye.
Hey!